Let me tell you something most dating advice will never tell you. Getting a girl's attention is easy. Getting her number is easy. Even getting a first date? Easy. But making her fall for you, like genuinely, deeply, can't stop thinking about you, compares every other guy to you kind of falling. That's a completely different game. And most guys never figure it out because they're playing the wrong game entirely. They're focused on impressing her, on saying the right things, on looking the part. But here's what nobody talks about. A woman doesn't fall for a man because of what he does. She falls because of how he makes her feel, deep in her chest, in quiet moments when she's alone, when something reminds her of you and she smiles without meaning to. That feeling isn't random. It's not luck. It's not chemistry you either have or you don't. It's triggered. And in this video, I'm breaking down 7 psychological triggers that make a woman fall for you at a level most men never even come close to reaching. Not surface attraction, not short-term interest, deep, real, emotional attachment. Let's get into it.
Number 1. You make her feel seen in a way nobody else does. Here's something most guys completely miss. Women are surrounded by men who look at them, but very few men actually see them. There's a massive difference. Looking is noticing the surface. She's pretty, she's funny, she has a nice smile. Seeing is something else entirely. It's when you pick up on the small thing she said in passing 3 conversations ago and you bring it back. It's when you notice she seems off today, even though she's smiling. It's when you ask about the thing she mentioned once that clearly meant something to her, not because you're trying to be impressive, but because you were actually paying attention. When a woman feels genuinely seen by a man, not performed for, not complimented constantly, but actually understood, something shifts inside her. It creates an emotional safety that is incredibly rare, and rare things become precious. She starts thinking about you differently, not just as someone she's talking to, as someone she wants to keep talking to, forever.
Number 2. You create moments she can't explain to her friends. Pay attention to this one, because this is where real attraction lives. There are guys she can describe easily. He's tall. He's funny. He texts back fast. Easy to explain. But then there are men who create something that doesn't have words. A look that lasted a second too long. A moment where you both said nothing and it felt like everything. A conversation at 2 a.m. that went somewhere she didn't expect. A joke that only the two of you would understand. These moments, these small, unexplainable, unrepeatable moments are what she replays in her head. They're what she tries to describe to her best friend and can't quite capture. I don't know, it's just different with him. That's the feeling you want to create, and you create it by being fully present, by not rushing the moment, by letting silences breathe, by going deeper in conversation instead of staying safe on the surface. The men who create unexplainable moments are the men who become unforgettable.
Number 3. You introduce her to a version of herself she likes. This is one of the most powerful psychological triggers in existence, and almost no one talks about it. When people are around certain individuals, they feel different, lighter, more themselves, more alive, more interesting, and they associate that feeling with the person who brought it out. When you're with her, does she laugh more freely? Does she open up about things she doesn't usually share? Does she feel comfortable being weird or soft or vulnerable? Does she leave the interaction feeling better about herself than when she arrived? If the answer is yes, she's not just attracted to you, she's becoming attached to you, because you've become associated with the best version of how she feels. Women don't just fall for who you are, they fall for who they are when they're with you. Create that experience consistently, and she won't just like spending time with you, she'll crave it. Number 4. You pull back at exactly the right moment. Here's the intimacy trigger most guys are terrified to use because it feels counterintuitive. You're having an amazing conversation. The energy is high. She's fully engaged. She's laughing. She's leaning in. She's giving you everything. And instead of riding that wave until it crashes, you end it first. You say, I should get going, but this was genuinely good. And you leave while it's still electric. What happens next is psychology working in your favor. She goes home with that unfinished energy. That conversation is still alive in her system, and there's nowhere for it to go. So her brain does what brains do. It replays it. It adds to it. It imagines where it could have gone. The pullback creates a vacuum, and she fills that vacuum with feelings, with curiosity, with want. The man who leaves her wanting more is infinitely more powerful than the man who gives her everything up front. Master the exit. It's one of the most intimate moves you can make without saying a single word about how you feel.
Number 5. You're honest about what you want without being desperate for it. This is a rare combination, and women can feel it instantly. Most guys either hide what they want, they dance around it, they hint at it, they drop subtle signs hoping she picks them up, or they want it so badly that the desperation leaks through everything. Neither works. But the man who can look her in the eye and say clearly, calmly, without trembling, "I like you. I'd like to take you out," and then let her answer without falling apart either way, that man is different. That directness combined with that emotional steadiness is deeply attractive because it says, "I know what I want, I'm not ashamed of it, and I'm secure enough to hear no without it breaking me." That combination is incredibly rare, and when she encounters it, she doesn't just feel attracted, she feels safe, and safety is the soil that deep attachment grows in. Number 6. You touch her world without crowding it. Intimacy isn't always physical. Real intimacy is when someone enters your world and makes it feel warmer without taking it over. You recommend a song and she listens to it 3 times in a row. You mention a place and she finds herself wanting to go there with you. You share something about your life, not to impress, just naturally, and she finds herself thinking about it later. This is you touching her world, leaving small traces of yourself in her day-to-day without demanding space in it. You don't insert yourself constantly. You don't need to be part of everything. But when you do show up, in person, in conversation, in a random text, it lands with weight. It means something, because you haven't deluded yourself by being everywhere all the time. You've kept enough distance that your presence feels like an event. Women fall for men who feel like events, not furniture. Number 7, and this is the deepest one. You let her see that you have walls, and you let her in anyway. Here's the truth about emotional intimacy. Most men are too scared to face. Vulnerability done right is the most powerful connection trigger that exists. Not trauma dumping, not oversharing on the first date, but that quiet moment when you let something real slip through. When she asks how you're actually doing, and instead of saying all good, you pause and you say something honest. Something that costs you a little. Something that says, "I'm human and I trust you enough to show it." That moment, that single honest moment in a sea of performed confidence and rehearsed coolness, that is what she falls for. Not the strength behind which she caught a glimpse of something real. Women don't fall for perfect men. They fall for strong men who aren't afraid to be real with the right person. Be that man. Not with everyone, not all the time, but with her in the right moment. Let the wall come down just enough for her to see there's something worth knowing behind it, and watch what happens to how she looks at you. Here's what all 7 of these have in common. None of them are about tactics. None of them are about saying the right line or wearing the right thing or following some 3-day texting rule. Every single one of them is about presence, about depth, about being a man who is genuinely worth falling for because he's done the work of becoming someone real. Attraction gets her attention, but depth is what makes her stay. Depth is what makes her choose you, not because you were the most impressive option, but because you made her feel something she can't find anywhere else. That is what keeps her up at night thinking about you. That is what makes her tell her friends, "It's just different with him." That is what turns interest into attachment, attachment into feelings, feelings into something neither of you has words for yet.
Stop chasing the surface game, build the real thing, because the right woman doesn't fall for a performance, she falls for a man. And becoming that man starts right now.
Drop a comment below. Which one of these hit different for you? I want to know. Peace.